been one of those days, let me tell you. Brian Crawford here in the River's Edge studio. We're live. Somehow, some way, we managed to get live here tonight. I remember hearing a story once from another radio DJ. You may know him, Randy Bauman on DVE. I was listening to the morning show, and he was bitching about Sean McDowell and how he changes all of the settings. And every time he goes in, he's got to readjust every little knob in the studio, and that's kind of how things went today. So we're just getting live now. Everything was messed up with the video. And usually what takes me like 2 minutes to set up took us about a little over an hour. So new policy, if you don't set things back up the way they were, your show is canceled. That's the new rule here on the River's Edge. So we're just doing weird news today. It's going to be a little bit of a fun show. Weird news. We've got the man from the Waffle House. If you remember a little bit ago, a few weeks ago, we talked about a story that was the man who went into the Waffle House kitchen because he couldn't find any employees and made himself his own breakfast. So he's going to be calling into the show. We're going to get the true story, what really happened, a one-on-one interview with the man himself. So that's coming up as well. And we also will be talking with Jenny Sines, who is right here to my right. If you're watching the video, if you're listening to the video, just believe me, she is there on my right. And she has a great fundraiser coming up this Wednesday for the Millvale Music Festival. And it is a Christmas time ugly sweater party. So that's the show today. Nothing too crazy. I know I try not to promote brands, but we were literally running in at the last minute. So I woke up this morning, and this is important. So just to let you know how much I care about you guys and how much of my heart I put into this show. Last Monday, because I did do the show Sunday night, I work overnight into Monday morning. Last Monday morning, I'm literally at work. I'm at the machine, as I work on this big machine, and I start falling asleep while I'm working, while I'm standing, sleeping. And in this half-sleep state, I saw this friend of mine who's a coworker at the building, and she's standing at the other end of the machine. But it wasn't her. She wasn't there. And then I saw another person walking on the other side of the rack on the opposite side of the machine. And again, no one was there. I completely was hallucinating. And then on my way home, I started falling asleep while I'm driving, so I'm shaking my head back and forth, trying to keep myself awake. That's a level of commitment that you will not find on old-fashioned, archaic FM radio, only right here on the River's Edge. It's a lot better. I will say one thing about my new job. In some regards, it's a lot better than the old job, where I was a repo man a couple jobs ago, and you repossessed all sorts of things with the job I worked at. It was like a rent-to-own place. You repossessed furniture, appliances, mattresses, all sorts of good things like that, and you always had to worry about bed bugs. And bed bugs are pretty terrifying. Jenny, have you ever had bed bugs?
I'm thankful to say I have not.
You have not had bed bugs. Zach fell here behind the board. Have you ever had bed bugs?
No bed bugs.
So in the United States, I have learned, we had eradicated bed bugs through powerful pesticides. We killed them all off. So if there was ever a positive note about pesticides, it's the fact that we got rid of the bed bugs. Well, now, as globalism has become a big thing and we have people traveling around the world, we have brought the bed bugs back to the United States, and they're a problem again. They, I have learned, can move at obscene speeds, fly across hard surfaces, and they're very, very hard to catch and extremely difficult to get rid of. And Randy and I took a trip to a little village. It's called, I'm trying to think of the name of this village, Depreciation Lands. It's a little village that's in Hampton Township that is modeled off of a village that would have existed after the Revolutionary War north of Pittsburgh. It was land that was divvied up to Revolutionary War soldiers in a way to pay them, because the U.S. dollar, or the currency that the United States had, was pretty much worthless after the Revolutionary War, and probably before the Revolutionary War. So that was a way that each state would come up with their own ways to try to pay these soldiers. And we had learned that bed bugs were a huge problem in those days, and the mattresses that they had were not the nice, beautiful mattresses that we have today. People would sleep on sacks and other things like that. And these mattresses, they would take them outside and literally shake the bed bugs off of the mattress, and that's how they tried to deter the bed bugs from biting them. So the old phrase, "Don't let the bed bugs bite," was very much a real problem back in early American culture. And they're coming back. So one woman in Cincinnati, she literally burned a house down to get rid of the bed bugs. That's how desperate she was. And it says here, authorities say that 3 people were injured and 10 people were left homeless after a woman accidentally started a fire trying to kill bed bugs with rubbing alcohol at a multifamily home in Cincinnati. So it's the WXIX TV reports it's the second time in 2 weeks that a fire sparked by attempts to kill bed bugs has caused extensive damage in Cincinnati. So apparently Cincinnati is not the place to go if you're trying to escape bed bugs. So that's weird news 1. We've got 3 weird stories here today. As you know, if you listen every week, we tell not 1, not 2, but 3 weird stories in an attempt to save this region from the horrid Mon monster who terrorizes the Pittsburgh rivers. And he likes weird news. So we tell 3 weird stories to keep that beast at bay. And single-handedly, I, Brian Crawford, Pittsburgh's moral compass, a beacon of truth in 3 rivers of chaos, I tried to deter the beast with not 1, not 2, but 3 stories. The second story, and this one's pretty great. If you remember, we talked about the Rocket Man who has built a rocket for himself. He's used science to build a rocket to prove that the Earth is flat. And if you remember, we had this big discussion. We had a couple round earthers in the studio. Are you a round earther, Jenny?
I am.
You're a round earther. So Jenny believes the world is round. Well, of course, the government is trying to spin the storyline that the world is round. They're in your camp. Jenny's bought into the myth, basically. And this man who has built a rocket and he's going to propel himself into orbit to prove that the world is flat, as we all know, the government, the man, is getting in his way. And they told him, Mike Hughes is his name, they told him that he cannot launch the rocket from a public park. So he's delayed his trip to the edge of the Earth until he can make other accommodations. Some say that, it's outrageous to try to launch a rocket from a public land, and they would say that the government's looking out for public safety and things like that. But, the rest of us know the true story. The government is trying to keep the round Earth narrative going. They're trying to crush dissent, and they are trying to make sure that this man cannot expose the truth. The truth is out there, Jenny.
Well, I'll be excited to see when he finds that secret plot that he can shoot the rocket from, and set the story straight.
So that's story 2. And number 3, there was a police chase, which is kind of interesting. This one comes from Yahoo News. There is a police chase in Milwaukee where a man got into an accident during the police chase because, in my opinion, this is just my guess, he was taking a selfie. He was on the cell phone. He claims that he was trying to get directions while he was in the middle of this police chase. And he crashed his vehicle because of that. I think he was trying to take a selfie. Like, I could see that, him holding up the cell phone, trying to take a selfie with the police car and the lights behind him to kind of show what a badass he is.
Yeah.
Trying to run from the cops.
It's not very badass to ask for directions at that point.
No, it's not. He may have had an old phone. That might be... The old
flip phone.
Even just an old smartphone. I had this Motorola, and I took a shot at Sprint the other day on AwesomeCast. I was on the show. And I may have to retrack my words, take them back a little bit. I instead of... What did ABC said when they didn't retract the story with Michael Flynn? They made they recategorized it, or they came out. They basically they messed up. So I'm not going to retract my story. I'm just going to modify it and say that Sprint wasn't a bad network. It was my phone that was really bad. So I always had this phone that would not find the GPS. I would just be driving down the road, blue sky, no clouds, beautiful day, perfect cell phone reception, and my cell phone would start looking for GPS. It would lose GPS all the time. And it was super aggravating. And then I would always lose the internet. I'd have full bars, and I wouldn't be able to do a simple web search. And I learned that it wasn't Sprint's fault, it was the phone. Because as soon as I got this brand new, beautiful phone...
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now that I got this phone, everything works.
And you can find your way.
I can find my way. The GPS works. The internet works. I have no issues. It's as good as when I had Verizon beforehand. So... pretty thrilled about that. But yeah, Milwaukee man, prosecutors say, who led the police on a high-speed chase, told arresting officers he crashed his minivan because he became distracted checking his cell phone for directions. That's according to the Associated Press via Yahoo News. We're going to take a quick break for promotions. And then when we come back, we are going to have my friend, the Waffle House man, Mr. Alex. He is going to be calling in, and we are going to get his side of the story. We already talked about this story a little bit. It's still in the news. And the reason why I decided to bring him back, to be quite honest, we talked about this on the show a little while ago, and it's still in the news. I was looking for weird news stories today, and literally this came up as a top news story. After all of this time, it's still circulating, and I thought, man, if it's still circulating, we got to get this guy on the show, hear his side of the story. I found out he was in the military, which is interesting, so that's cool. So if you remember last week, we did talk about, we were going to bring up some topics about freedom of speech and things like that. We're going to shelf those until next week. I know I'm keeping you guys in suspense, but we had some major technical issues today. We're lucky we got the show on at all. And that's, again, because just everybody comes in here and treats this place like it's some sort of dormitory. But we're going to button down on that. We've got big signs now in here that say, put things back where they're supposed to. And it's not just one person. It's multiple people in here. But we're bringing down the iron fist of order and justice here in the River's Edge. Speaking of justice, we've got Alex Bowen up next. He wanted food justice, and he took the law into his own hands and made his own Waffle House meal. And he's up next, right here on the River's Edge.
Hey folks, it's Mike Sasson of The Mike Sasson Show. Me and Alex, my producer extraordinaire, looked at the landscape of internet radio and figured if we want to make it, we've got to work. At least an hour earlier. Now on at 9 a.m. every Tuesday on the River's Edge, a new kind of radio.
Brian Crawford, the River's Edge Radio Network, broadcasting from Mr. Small's Theater. And I'm hungry, Jenny. I would like some Brinner.
Thinking not Eaton Park, not Denny's, but...
We'll have to... Whoever sponsors the network, that's where we will go. I know we had a gentleman here who is he's calling in over the phone right now. He is Alex, and Alex Bowen, you decided to you wanted Brinner as well, right? Or what time of night was it when you went to the Waffle House?
It was last Thursday night.
Last Thursday night, and you were interested in Brinner. You went in, and what happened? Tell us the story. We talked a little bit about this a little bit ago on this show a couple weeks ago. And I was looking for weird news stories for today's show. We always tell 3 weird stories on the show. And literally, you came up again. You're still trending.
That's awesome, man.
So I thought when I saw you come up again, I'm like, I got to get him on and hear what happened. Hear the truth. Hear your side of the story. What happened?
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. So, I had a few vodka and Sprite that eating after work, and decided to head over to the Waffle House. It's just right around the corner from my house. I can walk to it. So I walked in expecting to be greeted by a Waffle House employee. Instead, the place was an absolute ghost town. I went outside and looked around for a few minutes. Nobody out there. Went back inside. It was at that point that I decided, I'm not leaving here without a sandwich. I knew that delicious bacon goodness was just a few feet away. So I headed on around to the grill, threw it on there, and whipped it up myself.
Was it hard to find the ingredients? Because I feel like everything's...
not really.
No? Have you
No, not really. I had worked in some food service while I was in college, and I had been cooking, since I joined the military at 17. So, I took an educated guess, and things were where I thought they might be.
That's great. So, how was it? How was your version of Waffle House in comparison to what you normally eat there? How would you rate the quality of the food that you made based on what you're used to receiving at the Waffle House?
Obviously what I made was what I wanted. So I thought my version was an excellent version. In fact, here in about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to be publishing a video showing my version of the Texas Bacon Cheesesteak Melt on Facebook.
See, breaking news right here on the River's Edge. We're broadcasting out of Pittsburgh. You're down in South Carolina, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're breaking South Carolina news first, right here on the River's Edge. This is great. So I'm excited to see this. I'm hoping if you post this, I'm going to share this on the River's Edge page. Is that okay?
Yeah, no doubt. Do that.
That's great. So did you get any correspondence from Waffle House after this went viral?
Yeah, absolutely. I talked with the district manager. He assured me that no one was going to be fired, which is what my main concern was. He invited me to be a loyal Waffle House customer, and he even thanked me for pointing out a flaw in the operation. I also did a news story with some Waffle House corporate guys. When they came on and tried to show me how to make a Texas bacon steak, but guess what? I got this, man. I don't need nobody showing me anything. So, that's why I'm putting out this video.
Now, did they offer you a job after this, like because of the publicity that you brought them?
They didn't offer me a small position. They did offer that I could be a secret shopper at any Waffle House across, the South Carolina area. If I walk in and find something amiss, I got a direct line to the guy. Just give him a shout.
Would you consider, once you release this video, sending it to the Waffle House and getting their thoughts on it? And if they like it, would you be willing to sell your recipe to Waffle House for maybe a cut of the profit or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love for everybody to enjoy the delicious Texas Bacon Cheesesteak Melt the way I do. And I would absolutely do that.
That's your favorite meal at the Waffle House?
Say that again, sir?
Is that your favorite meal at the Waffle House?
Absolutely. I go out and I'll say I'll get something different, but I'm a creature of habit and I get the same thing every time.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Every time I go there.
Every restaurant I go to, there's something there that I like, and I just never deviate. It takes forever for me to try something else, and that's kind of a challenge. Do you ever go to Waffle House and just kind of say screw it and just blindly pick something on the menu and try something else?
Absolutely not.
You don't do
what works.
Would you ever be willing to try that? And maybe you could. No, never.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what? I'll probably do a video where I'll take a menu, throw a dart at it, and whatever it hits, that's what I'll eat.
You should become like the mascot for the Waffle House. I feel like they should hire you on full time. Seriously, like you've brought them so much publicity. That's kind of like a restaurant. I know of the Waffle House here in Pittsburgh, but to be quite honest, we only have one Waffle House in all of southwestern Pennsylvania, Alex, and I guarantee you that their profits have gone up after this story.
It's quite possible. Some of the Waffle House employees at other Waffle Houses have emailed me and been like, dude, that was great. And, yeah, we've been slam busy since you did this. So I hope Waffle House has benefited from it.
That's fantastic. Sure, well, sir, you, not only for your service, which I thank you for, but you are a patriot for helping the people at the Waffle House who I'm sure aren't making, like, obscene wages, but you're helping them get money through tips and things like that. I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm glad to know that you're keeping the spirit and you're keeping it going, and you're going to post this video. And I hope the Waffle House hires you on whenever you decide to retire from the service. I hope the Waffle House hires you on as a consultant, because I think you could really help the Waffle House maybe expand in the north and not just have this one Waffle House in Washington, but maybe we can get a Waffle House here in the city of Pittsburgh. And I think if anyone's going to do it, I think your ingenuity could be the driving force to make something like that happen.
Hey, no doubt. I'll do anything. We'll get Waffle Houses worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Waffle House for life, baby.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That is Alex Bowen. He is the Waffle House King from South Carolina. Thank you, sir, and we will post that video a little bit later, right after this program tonight.
Thank you, buddy. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Alex Bowen here on the River's Edge exclusive interview, breaking news right here. Jenny, are you surprised to find that out? Were you surprised to find out that he is releasing his recipe and you will be able to try it yourself?
I can't wait. I love
You're
those
gonna try
little quick cooking videos on Facebook and the internet, so I'll be excited to see his recipe.
Are you going to test it once it comes out?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. You know, I'm in a cooking kick right now. I'm starting to make food. Anybody who knows me, they know I go out basically for every meal. And I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking. I made my world famous spaghetti last night. I made a big salad. It was great. And I'm cooking because I have no more money.
Yeah, it definitely helps to cook your own food. But if you love food, cooking's not so bad because then you get to eat, you know?
I don't have a lot of time to cook, but you know what? I've got this tablet I bought. I got the new phone. I got all the new things.
We got Alex's videos coming out.
Yeah, so I'll have some pointers. That's good. But now, because of all these things, my cell phone bill has gone from like $50 a month to like $175 a month.
Now you gotta cook.
It's literally like tripled in a matter of a week. So now I've got to cook. Yeah, all of my food money has gone. So remember, if you want me at your show, now I'm taking guest passes now to get into shows because I can no longer afford to pay.
Oh.
No, I'll pay for shows. I'll just buy the cheap beer. So, yeah, I'm pretty much in that place. And talking about, speaking of cheap beer, Cousins
and
always has
delicious pizza at Cousins Lounge.
They've got great deals.
If you're on a budget and you want some delicious pizza, I would sincerely recommend our pizza at Cousins Lounge. Monday nights, it's $1 off.
There you go. So you can meet Jenny there. She's working there. Jenny, you also own the Millvale Yoga Collective.
I do.
And you also are a fundraising guru with the Millvale Music Festival.
I'm getting there. We'll see what happens on Wednesday.
We'll see what happens. What is happening on Wednesday?
So on Wednesday, we're going to have an ugly sweater party, a Sam Adams ugly sweater party. So we'll be drinking Sam Adams winter beers, and we'll be wearing ugly sweaters, and we'll be getting down to some live music and raising money for the Millvale Music Festival.
Fantastic. And where is this money going to go? It's going to go towards the street performers? Is that correct?
We're going to raise money, so we have a budget to get some street performers in, the permits that we need to have them, and some of the gear that they might need. And I think it's going to be really great this year. Last year was awesome, but this year is going to be even better, and I can't wait.
So this is going to be an ugly sweater party, correct? Do you have an ugly sweater?
Oh, I do.
You do. What does it look like? Can you describe the ugly sweater for us?
It's ugly.
Is it green? Is it red? Is it?
Well, you know what? Whenever I
turquoise?
First pulled it up at the Salvation Army, I thought, oh, this one's totally ugly. It sort of reminds me of like a substitute teacher. It's got some cheesy snowmen on there, but I wore it a couple times and I'm getting a lot of compliments on it. Like, hey, good looking sweater. I'm like, maybe it's not as ugly as I thought.
Yeah, I have this awesome sweater which I wore a few weeks ago. That's a Darth Vader sweater. It's a Darth Vader Christmas sweater.
It's a great sweater.
Wearing a scarf. And somebody had the audacity to say that was an ugly sweater. That is a pretty sweater. There's nothing ugly about Darth Vader wearing a scarf. That's just badass is what it is. And if you don't like it, maybe you've got some sort of inferiority complex and you can't handle being in the presence of the Dark Lord of the Sith. That's my opinion. That's the way I see it.
Well, I think that ugly sweaters are trendy now, so now they're not so ugly anymore. If you could go the route of like authentically ugly, and I think you're not gonna find that at your typical retailer. You're gonna have to dig a little bit for that.
Yeah, this one was right at Target. I mean, it's mainstream. Yeah, so it's Darth Vader. It's awesome.
Target doesn't want to sell ugly things.
I think they were trying to go with the ugly route for the sweater. I think that was kind of like what they were trying to do, but they failed miserably because it's Darth Vader wearing a scarf.
It's just too cool to be ugly.
It's too cool to be ugly, yeah. The only thing is I have to, like, when I come in and I wear this on air, I have to do, like, all this prep work. I got to fold the sleeves in. I got to fold the neck in because there's a green ring right around the neck and green sleeves. So I could have, like, floating hands and a floating head. That actually might be pretty cool. I might have to do that for the green screen for those who watch the video. That would actually be pretty badass.
At least once before the holidays are over.
That would be pretty sweet, like a beheaded Brian Crawford. That would be interesting. Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Me walking around without a head.
Some Wizard of Oz kind of feel going on.
Will you do me a favor, Jenny?
I'll try.
If I come on air, I wear the sweater, and I become beheaded, and my head actually falls off, will you take the rest of my remains to Hans Funeral Home?
I will.
It's the only family-owned funeral home in Millvale. And there at Hans, they can give me, Brian Crawford, because I care so much, the green burial. Economically friendly.
That's great.
Family service. No one does it like Hans.
That's great. That's really cool to know.
Yeah, so there you go.
Hans like to party, too.
They do. That's like they're going to be.
That's the one. They put the fun in funeral.
They definitely do. They definitely put the fun in funeral. It's pretty sweet there. Mm-hmm. So and they will do whatever you need. And we were talking the other day before the Yuletide tour about how it's Christmas time. Jesus, when he was born, was given gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And people don't realize, but those were gifts that were given at a funeral. So a lot of foreshadowing there in the beginning of the Gospels. And all I'm saying is if you want a true Christmas funeral, Hans is the place.
Yeah, that's really cool to know.
So what time does this ugly sweater party start on Wednesday?
It's going to kick off at about 7 o'clock, and we'll see how long it goes.
So 7 o'clock, and
7 to
go
question
7
mark.
to whenever. And I'm assuming since it's called the Sam Adams Ugly Sweater Party, Sam Adams is going to be on special?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming as well. I'm not going to be tending bar that evening. I'll be playing music and partying with you guys. But
and that's with your group, Jenny and the Jags.
Jenny and the Jags are going to be at the
Tell me about
fundraiser.
Jenny and the Jags. I think this is the first time that you've been on this program as a representative of the band. I know you've performed at the pod party and you were broadcasted in video through that, but this is the first time you've actually had a chance to talk about your band.
Well, yeah, I guess so. It kind of escalated quickly. Really, Jenny and the Jag-Offs, that's our alter ego, was just a fun name that we would use when we would do open mic. So I'm Jenny, and I bring some Jag-Offs up with me, so I sound awesome, you know. So and then it just escalated quickly, and now I've got a little group going on, and we love to play. And we love to hustle money for the Millvale Music Festival.
You've been playing all over, too.
We have. We played this morning. I played a little bit this afternoon. And we played on Saturday, so we've definitely been...
Who all's in the band?
Sean Zuza, Brandon Long, and Mike Zickafoos, and myself.
Okay.
But we've had many other Jags come and jam with us. So if you're a Jag and you play music, you know, maybe you'll be an honorary Jag with me.
Very cool.
We've got stable Jags, unstable Jags.
What do you guys play at? I know you said you started in the open mic scene. Do you still play open mics?
We do. We just did one on Thursday too.
Okay.
And that was
where was that at?
That was at the Good Time Bar, and it was fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Not a whole lot of people either know about that or it's just getting started, but the house band is awesome. We have a great time, but it goes late. So if you're down to party late on a Thursday night, that's a great open mic.
That is the place. Thursday night used to be, I don't know if it still is because I work overnights now, so I don't get to go out that late at night. But Thursday used to be the night to party.
Yeah.
Is it still like the bar night? Is that still the night?
I have no idea because I go by my own schedule and nobody else's.
Very cool.
You know, whatever night I feel like partying is the night to party for me. But working at Cousins, it wasn't Monday night, but now it's picking up quite a bit. There's people hanging out all night. Thursday night's a good one too. So I guess, you know, not a whole lot of people are on the 9 to 5 schedule anymore. So whenever you feel like going out is when you go out.
Well, I think the reason why Thursday was such a big night to go out and why there were so many cool things going on Thursday night is because Friday through Saturday are like the 2 nights to go out. But the bars are looking to make more money, and this has like always been my guess. So they put a lot of really cool stuff to do on Thursday to try to extend the weekend and get people to come out early. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because Friday, Saturday, you really don't need to try. People are going to come out on the weekend, especially in areas like the South Side, for example. But to get people to come out on a Thursday night, that can be a little bit trickier. So if you put an event out there, you get people to come out.
And music is always the way. Like, if there's good music and it's on a Tuesday night out, like, we don't care. We want to see the music.
Yeah, I agree. So it's going to be a good time. It's at Cousins Bar. It's going to be this Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Little shout out to Brian McQuaid will be playing with us on Wednesday as well. We're excited to have him.
Yeah, Brian is great. Mm-hmm. So he's a cool guy. Actually, a funny story about Brian, and I'll maybe close on this. He had posted in a music group that he was trying to get rid of an organ. And did you hear about this story?
No, I didn't, but
Okay.
I'm excited.
So he was trying to get rid of this organ, and he had tried to get rid of it once before, and he had failed. No one took the organ. And he was trying to get rid of it a second time, and he said in his message, if nobody gets this organ, and he showed a picture of it, it was beautiful. He said, if nobody takes this organ, I'm going to have to chop it up and put it out on the curb, because he just couldn't take it with him to his new place. He had moved. And I messaged him, and I said, look, I've never played the organ. I have no idea how to play the organ. I don't even plan to learn to play the organ, but do not chop that organ up. If you can find somebody else to take it, anybody else to take it, please do. But if it's still there at the end of the day, I will take this organ. And it was there at the end of the day, and I said I would take the organ. We scheduled an arrangement, and I had nowhere to put the organ in my house. So I had said, I'll bring it to Millvale Studios, set it up, and I'll ask Panza if it's okay if we keep it. And if he says no, I'll try to get rid of it myself. But I said, we got to try to save it. So Panza was all about it.
Oh, he would
Mark
be.
Panza, who was the building manager of Millvale Studios, where our previous studio was, the one that caught on fire. And it did catch on fire, and the organ was in the building when it caught on fire. And all of the keys stood straight up.
Ew.
And we had to allow the removal people to take the organ with them, and that organ had never been played since I took it from Brian. So all of this work and all of this effort to try to save this organ from being destroyed, and it ended up going to the dumpster.
It just had a gruesome,
it was
future,
determined.
and it was either going to get chopped up or burned in the studio. So,
well, speaking of burning things down, let's burn this show down. Let's close it up. It's a quick, nice half-hour show.
Thanks so much for having me, Brian. I hope to see everybody on Wednesday at Cousins.
So, yeah, this is for Jenny Signs. Zach fell behind the board. I am Brian Crawford. We've got local music up next, and we also have this Saturday, I'll be back right here with Jay and Howie. And just for your calendar, be sure to mark this down. Next week will be the last show until the new year. We're going to take 2 weeks off for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and then we'll be back right after that in the new year. So thank you all, and I will see you for one more week, and then I'll catch you next year. Jenny Signs, Zach Fell, and Brian Crawford. You're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, Pittsburgh's voice for local music.